Hey y'all, and welcome back to another fan mini episode of Catch That, where we get to know our friends through their favorite R&B songs. I am Naturally Elise, and that's my brother,
JR.
and we are the R&B Representers. Happy everyone is here, and today we will be welcoming a good brother by the name of Reg. Hello.
Hey, how's everybody doing today?
Doing great. It's a good day.
Yes, sir.
Well, before we jump into the song that we're going to talk about today, how about you just tell folks a little bit about yourself, as much or as little as you'd like folks to know?
Absolutely. So my name is Reg. You can call me Reggie, whatever works for you guys, you know what I'm saying? Um, I actually have a podcast with my homeboy, my good friend who actually recommended me to come to this channel. It's Tribo Gigolo in the building. Shout out to him as well. I'm
Try.
also I'm also an artist as well too, and I love good music. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to talk about some good old-fashioned Minneapolis sound tonight, you know?
Hey.
All right. So, how about you let people know what song you picked for us to talk about, and if you remember hearing it for the first time?
So the song I want to talk about today would be Prince's 1987's classic Housequake off the Sign of the Times album. I remember when I first heard this song, I heard the album years ago. I really forget what year I heard the album, but it was just so funky, so horn driven. It was like a tribute to P-Funk, and it's among my favorites off the album, probably a top three favorite. But this every song on this album always slaps hard, so it doesn't even matter to be real with you.
You
Yeah. And we
ain't lying there.
yeah, and excited to talk about we were excited to talk about this because we actually did an episode with a good friend of mine who's a music journalist about the whole album. So we were like, oh, it'd be fun and we can like really talk about this song like even deeper. So we were
Mm-hmm.
two thumbs up. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I act crazy on that episode because as soon as we got to Housequake, I got hyped because that is my second favorite song on the album after Adore.
Oh,
But
that's my favorite song. That's my favorite song too.
come on, see, already. I'm
Already,
saying.
already.
So Housequake, like you said, is so funky. It is just, and to me, it's like, first of all, I feel like Prince was like, I know what's going on in the climate right now. You know what I'm saying? There's a switch. There's a switch. New Jack Swing is coming in. So he
Mhm.
like, I'm hearing what's going on, y'all. So y'all gonna hear this. I'm with y'all. You know what I'm saying? So he like Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis. I know what y'all doing over here. Y'all started with me first. Y'all know how shady Prince was.
Okay.
He was like, get started with me first. You know what I'm saying? So I know what y'all doing. L.A. Reid, Babyface, I see what y'all out here doing too. And Teddy, I know what you doing too. You know what I'm saying? So this was his
Exactly.
like, yo, this is my response. I'm seeing what y'all doing out here. So that was that. And then I was like, it just reminded me of James Brown, to be honest. It reminded me of that, but just in a 87 type of way to me. It gave
Oh,
me like hot pants and I can hear,
Oh,
to me, when that horn came in, shout out to Eric Leeds. Shout out to Eric Leeds for them
yes.
horns. Yes, God. And I can hear James Brown like saying, Fred, Fred, like I can hear him doing that on this joint. So I was like,
Exactly.
Prince was putting all that into there, like you said, P Funk and James and all that. And I was just like, yo, this song is dope. And then for the horns, everybody know on this show that I'm a horn lover, and I'm gonna say that. So before at least go ahead, you go ahead.
no,
Oh, you ain't gonna do it this time? Oh, okay. You gonna let me live? I ain't do it in a while.
that's psychology. I did it so much that you react to it and I don't have to do it anymore.
Oh, you right. True.
I should be a CEO. This is
Oh, that was cute. That was real cute. How nice you are.
but
but
yeah, it's definitely I mean, shit, it don't even give me specific James Brown. It just give me any James Brown up tempo. Like it's
Mhm.
like Yeah, it was just all like I see what the other producers doing out here, but it felt like Amish. He was doing James Brown things the entire song,
Facts.
you
Facts.
know, doing James
Mm-hmm.
Brown and being silly with Shut Up, like Little Richard. Like it just felt like an Amish, even though it was updated.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree with that for sure. Cause cause the little, like you said, the little bullshit he was doing, literally bullshit. Like you know what I'm saying? So he was doing that little thing and just the little, he was giving you that. But I had to think about it for a second because when Red said P Funk, I ain't gonna lie on here. I didn't think about P Funk until Red said. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie on here. I just thought I think about James and all that. And also with this record, I always felt like there's a precursor to when people are gonna make something like this. And I was telling Elise while we was offline, it gave me a song from Prince's Parade album, which is Girls and Boys,
Ooh,
kind of a precursor to this. You know what I'm saying?
I,
And he doing
I
this
I
little
can see
rap
that.
on it. You see what I'm saying? Like it
Yeah,
gives you that. That's why I was like, wait a minute. And it was so crazy because after we did the episode with Keith, and that's why I'm so happy we get to talk about this song. Thank you again, Ranch. I'm happy this. But he was like, it came on, and I had my Prince playlist playing, and Girls and Boys came on, and I was like, yo, this sounds like a precursor to Housequake, like for real. I was like, I can see that. And then again, he had Eric Leeds on the saxophone once again, so that made it even better. So I mean, come on, like, was there a video for this song, y'all?
it wasn't. Well, it wasn't released as a single, so it was no video. But
Mm-hmm.
I know he did this when he did that whole Sign of the Times movie. He
Yes,
performed
yes,
this. That
yeah,
was a very
yeah, yeah.
like the performances he did around that era. The New Year's Eve First Avenue show. The best performance of the song, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And you even see like in the comments, it was somebody that said they was actually there. And they was like, yo, they was on their feet the whole time. Like he was like, yo, it was such an experience. I wish I could have went and experienced a Prince concert, to be honest, because
Reg,
they said them things.
did you get to see Prince at all?
I never got to see Prince, unfortunately.
Ah, that I'm damn. And I had so many people that I know that seen him. And I'm just like, ah, yeah,
Yeah.
you were one of them. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. In
Jerk.
2005, yeah.
Yeah. Lucky. At least you want like Kim Kardashian got kicked off the stage for not
Oh,
doing shit. He kicked her ass off. He said, "Get
off
off,
the stage.
get off this stage." Like the hell, you gonna come up here and not do nothing? But I'm like, Prince, you knew that she wasn't gonna do nothing. You wanted that moment. Prince is shady. A shady person to another. You knew you was gonna have to be shady to that girl. You knew she was gonna come up there and just look at you. That's it. But I do know that this was the B side of You Got the Look.
Yes.
It was the B side of You Got the Look. So again, that's why this is 87. This is again going back to when Prince is like, listen, y'all little youngins. I see what you doing out here, little youngins, but y'all ain't got nothing on me. That's how Prince is saying. I
Exactly.
feel.
Wow.
I'm just saying, like, you know what I'm saying? Yo, you got to go back to a lot of these shady stuff that Prince do. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least my microphone is on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love that. I love it. Cause I'm like, ooh, he's shading a lot of them up. Cause like for real, for real. But back to Housequake. Housequake is such a party jam. I like that's the first song on my Prince playlist is Housequake. That's
Mm.
on my own. I got like a 5-hour playlist of Prince, and the first song is I ain't starting with no Adore. No, nah.
Yeah.
I'm
You gotta say
starting. Nah,
that.
I'm starting with Housequake. I need an up tempo. And I told in our video when we went, and I was going to work, and it was like 5 in the morning. I had to get some gas, and that joint came on. I blast that joint and it was 5 in the morning. I ain't give a damn who was looking. I ain't give a damn. Y'all gonna hear this. Y'all gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, and
Exactly.
I wish somebody tell me to turn it down. I got the wish factor. I wish
But
somebody.
God, Jared is just
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
but I have a confession though. As much as I like this song and I think it's a great song, I never played that song.
Really?
Ow.
I just don't think about it. But I think it's a different part of Prince. I don't know. But I it's not just like this song. I love this song, but I just never think about it to play. It's not the first song that come to my mind to play.
Oh, okay. I mean,
But I don't know why. I don't know why. But
At least you
got a
admitted it.
lot.
huh?
At least you admitted it, though.
Right. She admitted. You know what I'm saying? Because you got motherfuckers that act like, oh yeah, I play it. You know what? I ain't even gonna give no shine. But this with this, he got so many. That's why I ain't mad at you. To be honest, Prince got so many that you will forget. Especially album cuts. You know what I'm saying? Like album cuts,
Exactly.
he got so many hits. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna remember like all of them. So I don't knock you. But this beat just not so much to me. I'd be like, yeah, let's get it started. Like this is a pick me up. And I be needing that a lot.
Really?
Catch it.
I believe J.
Yeah. You see what I have to deal with, Brad? When you see what I'm saying, you got to deal with
Yeah.
Oh god. Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah. As far as this.
So how did you even like get introduced to like print to Sign the Times album? Like when like what age were you when you like
I want to say I was about maybe 16 or 17 because originally when I heard Prince when I was like a little boy, I didn't really care too much from him at the time. But then over the years, I started listening. The album that got me into Prince, believe it or not, was the Diamonds and Pearls album. And whatnot.
Okay.
So I worked myself backwards. I heard Purple Rain, which classic album. And then I think I heard 1999, very dope album.
Yes.
Jumps to Sign of the Times. And this is around the era when Prince's music was not easy to come by online because he had this thing about YouTube and streaming was not really as popular as it was now. You know what I'm saying? Because at that time he was entitled. So I had to search long and hard just for this album. And I heard the album, like heard bits and pieces of the album, and like every song was just a banger. But Housequake was always one of those songs I just had to go back to plenty of times. And when I even brought this on Amazon, they tried to shade me because they gave me the first disc first, because then I had to go rebuy this just to get the second disc.
Yo, they played you like that?
Yes, they played me like that. Because when he released his album originally, it was a double disc album, so he sold it like separate. Like some stores you'll have the first disc, some stores you have the second disc. You know what I'm saying? So, but it was on me because I didn't read the description. I just saw Sign of the Times. Let me buy this, and I was looking for the second disc. Like, there's only one disc in here. That shit. So, luckily, I got both discs now, so I'm grateful about that.
Yeah. Let me go look at my vinyl and see if I got both. You got the.
Well, I think the vinyl, it comes with two discs in the vinyl.
Yeah,
with CDs.
Yeah, I think so. Separately. I think I haven't played it on my vinyl in a minute, so I hope so. Then my best friend gonna have to give me another one because she got it for me for Christmas. Hey, Alicia. Hey, girl.
Shit, racking them coins up.
You know what I'm saying?
Racking them coins, girl.
You know what I mean? Oh my god! So this is your favorite Prince album, right?
Or none. My favorite Prince album. Bar none.
Good. Because clearly it's mine. As y'all can see, clearly
I want
it's
that shirt
mine.
though. That shirt is fire.
Yeah, man. When I saw it online, I was like, I had to grab
I
this
love
joint.
that
I was
show.
like, I want it. I was like, I want this. And then when I got home, my mom was like, "Oh, where you get that from?" And I told her. She was like, "Oh, you gonna get me one?" She's still waiting for it.
Y'all,
Hey, mom.
y'all get your friend JR, please.
Sorry,
I can't
Mom.
handle. I can't handle him today.
Yes, I'm sorry.
But yeah, but now that I had that realization that that I'll never play it, I will. Well, 100%, I'm gonna play it more now because it's in my head. So, you know,
He would be
red
very happy.
red influencing out here.
Right.
Of course.
Let me find out.
Right. Yo came on the show an influencer. Like what
But yeah, we are so happy that you came to kick it with us for a little bit, and
yeah.
I'm gonna do JRs. You got to pick another song. You got to come back.
Yes, Red, you gotta pick
Oh,
another
you already
song.
know.
Yeah.
I have a whole list of songs I definitely want to talk about.
Don't he sound like his co-host, don't he?
Yeah. That's that chemistry. That's that chemistry.
That's that
Trust
chemistry,
me.
y'all, with them too. What?
Yeah.
Trust me. This is fun.
Yeah. Try be on here. He be surgical with it too. Like he be on it. I was
Oh
like,
my God. That one, when he came with the last one he did, Yo came with the vinyl and all that, saying, "Oh, I'm coming. I'm ready for y'all."
What song did he pick last when he was here?
Don't turn around.
By who?
Wasn't it Black Ivory?
oh
Oh
yeah,
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 the
yeah.
Black Ivory. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one he picked. Yeah.
Okay.
No, but it wasn't. It was on that album though. He picked The Loneliest Man in Town.
Yeah, yeah.
I know which one you're talking about.
Yes. And he said,
I
"Oh,
said in the whole. Okay.
yes, you did."
So sad.
Oh
So sad.
God.
Yes. But how about you tell folks where they can find you if you would like people to find you?
Please.
Okay. Well, my Instagram is going to be Reg Central. Also got a Twitter called Real Reg One, and you can also look at me on YouTube, Reg Reviews. We do the best music reviews, movie reviews, anything, current topics. You know what I'm saying? We always do all that. You know what I'm saying? So come and find us. We got the best reviews at a time. Well, next to R&B Representers, of course. You know.
I must say, y'all killed the Lil Kim one. I'm sorry, I have to
Oh,
say
you
that.
saw that last night.
Oh yeah, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Yo, y'all killed it. Y'all killed
Thank
it.
you.
I was like, oh, because there ain't nobody really talk about that album like that. They
Nah, it
don't.
was my first time hearing the album too.
For real? It
First
sure
time.
didn't seem like it.
Which album?
La Bella
La
Mafia.
Belle Mafia.
Hold on. This one right here.
Oh. Yeah.
And you know a lot of people don't do reviews on that. They always do it on hardcore or really just hardcore. And I think some people do it on Notorious KIM, but
Unfortunately,
they
we
only
did
do it
that
on
one
hardcore.
too.
So when I
Y'all
saw
did
them
that one
doing all,
too?
Yeah, we did not like Notorious KIM. Just
I mean, that is a good opinion.
I mean, that's a very great opinion. I mean,
thank you. Because everybody was on my ass talking about, oh, this is a dope album. I'm just like, really? Niggas like this album? Like, hey, I'm like, hey.
Hey, if it hits you, it didn't hit me, but if it hits you, great.
There was 2 good songs on that one. 2.
Ooh, catch it. Ooh.
I'll give it like 3, but that's it.
Oh, you better than me. Better than me.
And that's just because it's a specific. One of them is not even a good. I don't think it's a good song, but it's a connection to it with my like an inside joke. So I still bump it. But yeah, no, you're correct.
I can respect that.
So you're right. There's 2, but I have a third sentimental one that I know is a bad song. So
well, stay Stay tuned to when we do Naked Truth next
Like,
month. That's all I
yeah,
gotta say.
check the feedback.
Oh,
Watch out, girl.
yeah,
Ooh,
I can't wait for this.
Kim fans
Ooh.
gonna hate me.
Yeah. See, we definitely got to talk again. But
Yes.
and yeah, so we thank you again for picking it with us,
Thank you
and we
so much.
also, yeah, you're welcome, baby. And we also thank everybody, especially in the live chat. We'll be chopping it up, watching the shows live and just reacting to it in real
Y'all some
time.
crazy people in the live. I'll be like, this is crazy.
Yes, and I love it. And it's becoming like a little family. That's why I always say bring
Yeah.
up some more cousins because
Yes.
we like the community of it as well as just talking about
Right.
music running our mouth. Like we like friends. We not Drake, we not no new friends.
Right.
Please, new friends, come forth, come forth. But yeah.
I like how you did that there. That was nice.
And, so yeah, subscribe,
Oh.
like, and share. And we will catch y'all on the next Catch That. Peace.
Thank you so much for having me. Hope y'all have a good day.
That was dope. That was
Hey y'all, and welcome back to another fan mini episode of Catch That, where we get to know our friends through their favorite R&B songs. I am Naturally Elise, and that's my brother.
JR.
And today we are welcoming Mr. Glass. Hey, sir.
How y'all doing? Good to see y'all. It's wonderful to
Excellent.
thrill and honor to be here.
Yeah.
Yay. Yes. And before we get started on the song that you chose today, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself, as much or as little as you want the people to know?
Sure, yeah. First of all, I just want to thank y'all for having me on the show. It really is a thrill and an honor to be here. Yeah, I just really wanted to just open up just by saying that for people like me, for men of a certain age, you guys really do an amazing job just raising people's spirits, and I just want to thank y'all for that because we need that in these times. And again, I just wanted to say you guys do great work. As far as I'm concerned, yeah, now I'm originally from Boston, actually. That's where I was born and raised. Shout out to Dart. I know he's from Boston too, and I've watched a few of his episodes. So
Oh.
yeah. Yeah, no, he's great. I really enjoyed
Show
listening
fave.
to him. But yeah, but no, I mean I've lived all over the country. Like I said, I grew up in Boston, lived in Seattle for a while. Actually went to school in Phoenix, and I went to Arizona State. Majored in journalism and with a minor in film studies. The time I was wanted to become a film critic, and but I've always been a music lover since, yeah, I mean, really since the cradle. And I mean, I guess I have some experience with music. I mean, I've done a lot of DJing. I did a DJing when I was in college, local bars, and did some karaoke hosting and things like that. So I've always tried to use my musical knowledge and just appreciation to to spread love the same way you guys do, and just put people in a good mood. And that's why I wanted to talk about this song today, because this is a song that never fails to put me in a good mood. And I just really wanted to get on here and just chop it up with y'all because yeah, this is brings back happy memories for me.
Yeah. So tell folks what's the song that you picked and if you remember the first time hearing it.
Yeah, the song I chose is called My Heart, by I guess you could call them a boy band from 1988, group called Troop, which stands for Total Respect of Other People, which is an acronym that I think is ironic when you think about the group's history.
Right.
But I guess we'll dig into that. But yeah, that's why I chose the song, because I'm a huge Troop fan, and I just always felt like when you talk about the groups from that period, they just necessarily didn't get all the love that they deserve. There's kind of a hierarchy when you talk about those groups from that period. You got your New Edition, your Boys to Men, your Joe to C, Guy, Tony. That to me is kind of the top tier. But then there's that next tier where maybe the albums weren't quite as thorough as the ones I just mentioned, but they still had a lot of bangers and a lot of classics. Whether you're talking about the dance tracks or the slow songs, and really made their mark too. And also need to be mentioned when you're having these conversations about that period, which for me was seminal. '88 was it's just an incredible year for music. I'll never forget it. And yeah, that's really why I wanted to get into that song in particular. I do want to make sure that I say before we delve deep, I do want to say rest in peace to Reggie Warren.
Yes.
Yeah, he passed away a couple years ago. So no, I just wanted to definitely recognize him for his contributions to the group. He was really the guy out there giving the energy on the dance floor. So yeah, he was unforgettable. So I just wanted to make sure we mentioned him real quick. But yeah, where do I start with this? Because to me, the song kind of works on two different levels. There's kind of the surface kind of just the basic lyrical level, the love song and the heartbreak and all that, the emotion, the need, the longing. But then I think there's another level we can talk about where if you want to look deeper into the lyrics, it's kind of prophetic to me, the song, kind of what it does and what it says about the people singing the song and what ends up happening with them. That's why I think it's just an interesting song for me to listen to once I started understanding more about the history of the group, and just not just sort of enjoying the song for what a groove it is, but also for what it means, and what it means to me personally. But yeah, am I then to pause?
Oh, this is listen. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm just listening. I'm just like, okay.
Right, I'm here for this.
All right, well, yeah, let's just go back. Let me just go back because I want to go back to 88. Like I said, 88 was a similar year in my life. That was the year I graduated from high school. I guess you could say that was the year that I was really like outside for the first time. You know what I'm saying? That was just me being able to kind of come into myself and being able to buy my own music and just kind of go where I wanted to go and just kick it with my friends and listen to whatever. Because I come from a single parent home, and I'm sure I'm not exceptional in that respect in our community, but yeah, I came from a single parent home. My father wasn't in my life, and my mother was really conservative. She loved music. She put me on to all kinds of good stuff. She put me on to Al Jarreau and Sade and Shaka and Luther and all that kind of stuff. And I love all that music, and that rich, soulful, just emotional music that, came from artists that were a little bit before my time, but I still appreciated them for what they were saying and how well they were saying it. But if I wanted to hear Prince, if I wanted to hear, even MJ, Rick James, something a little bit edgier like that, I kind of had to sneak. I
yes.
I had to go to my boy's crib, and that's where I was able to see BET, MTV, Video Representers, Rhapsody. That's where I was able to see those shows. And again, I'm from Boston, so let me just say first, New Edition, Boston, that's they're the gods, they're the standard. You can't say nothing bad about New Edition. I love all of them. You
can't say nothing bad here.
So yeah, that means they are it to me as far as I'm concerned. It's them and the Jacksons, that they're it to me. So, but and again, I think about that year. I think about Bobby and Keith Sweat and Guy and all those groups at that time they were all on the charts. They were all crushing it. They were crossing over. Everybody knew their songs. And I remember, I guess it was in like summer of '88 when Mamacita dropped. Right. And that was their first single.
Yes.
And I remember seeing it. I remember seeing the video, and they had the black outfits on, and they all came out, and and they were crushing it right on the floor, and I was like, damn, you know what I mean? And I like that, and people. It's funny because people talk about Troop and they say, oh, you mean that those dance guys that can sing too? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They kind of had that reputation of being more dancers than singers, and I think you saw in the video, just how hard they were dancing and everything, and I liked that, and and they were bringing a more urban kind of grimy type of vibe, whereas like New Edition, the Jacksons, they were kind of cut from that Temptations cloth, where it was very clean, very polished and everything, and that was cool and everything. But when True came out, especially for me, I'm 17, I'm seeing this, and they're it's hip hop. You mean the movement is hip hop. They're popping and they're dropping to the floor and they're doing all this, and I'm like, and they were like superheroes. I was seeing them on the screen. You know what I mean? So that jumped out at me immediately.
And you know
right?
what? It's speaking about their dancing.
Yeah.
I remember watching their when I watched a True Unsung, and they were talking about people coming on their dancing, is the fact they were doing all these wild movements, but yet totally in sync.
Yes.
Because a lot of the dances from that time, yeah, they'd be dancing hard, but it wouldn't be like a precision to the whole dance troupe.
Right.
And with that, they were like on point, doing these very wild, complicated moves together, and they had commented on their unsung.
Right. And that's why Arsenio Hall actually loved them coming on his show, because he was like, Arsenio didn't play about the live stuff either. He was like, ain't no Milli Vanilli going on up in here, like at all. So he was like, yo, when Troop will come on, them brothers will be on the floor, flipping all of it, all in sync, and then come back and harmonize like it was nothing.
Right, they came back to the mic,
Yes, like,
I mean,
who do
I think
that?
they set the record. They set the record for being on the show like 7-8 times. I mean, he kept having them back, and and they give him a lot of credit for being the ones to give him that early exposure, So, but no, what I was going to say is, and I'm just being honest. So Mamacita, and I know the song is produced by Gerald Levert. So let me just say, I'm not a big Levert fan, right? I mean, like, I like the voice, but like when I listen to Mamacita, I hear Casanova. Right, when I
yes, I give you that.
I mean, I hear that, and so like to me, like the production is a little bit bare. You know what I mean? I wanted something that felt a little fuller. So
quiet as it's kept, Mark Gordon's production is kind of bare.
Yeah, and I mean, again, he's nothing wrong with his voice at all.
No disrespect.
Yeah. So I just remember seeing that video. Me and my boy Cedric was watching it, and we loved the dancing. And we was trying to learn the steps and hit all of that. But to me, like the vocals and everything was just okay. So that was my initial reaction. Because again, I'm a New Edition head. I'm listening to Jodeci. I'm listening to all these other groups, and to me, it was like, okay, it's a cool song. It's all right, except for the part when Steve comes in. And he's like, oh, is it? You make me so happy. When he comes in with that part, and it reminded me of MJ, which is no accident because I know that he worships him, and
absolutely, yes.
And the steps and everything he was hitting, I just loved how he came in on that hook. So it wasn't until like September when My Heart came out. And he opens the song. So that's what originally caught my attention, is because I knew from just seeing the first video, okay, I need to look out for him. I like him. And which makes sense because he was the creative genius behind the group and everything when you really get down to it. So I remember just hearing My Heart, and I was just back in the time when we still had Walkman. You know what I mean? I still had had my probably a Discman, something like that, and I would put that in. And to me, that song is just it's beautifully, perfectly constructed. If you break it down sonically, which is the first thing I wanted to talk about, because it's just, and I'm going to talk about the brainchild behind the song too, Chucky Booker. Chucky Booker to me is, again, one of these other people that just does not get talked about.
So underrated, underrated. Yes.
He does not get talked about enough, and I have a story about him. But again, thinking about how the song was put together, so you get before the beat, you get that octave, that you get that
harmonies, yes,
and that's that what I call the ear tickle. You know what I mean? That's the part that just draws you in. So all of a sudden you're perked up, and you're like, okay, what is this? This is nice, especially when it was the second single. I just love the way they harmonize on that in the beginning, and then you get that snare pop that comes in. There's that hard hitting contrast that complements the harmonies, and I just love how
so Chucky,
right?
It's so Chucky. Oh,
but then it's just like a cake. The layers keep building. You get that guitar riff, that twang that comes in. I love that part, and it's really subtle. But then, and again, all they're doing is this building up your anticipation, right? And they come in with the and it just builds, and you're just waiting for the beat, and then that bass line comes in,
Oh.
and then the bass line is just so groovy. It reminded me of like I was thinking when I was listening to it earlier today. It reminded me of almost like a Cameo bass line, because the Cameo was hot at that time too. And I was thinking about the bass lines they use, like a song like Candy or something like that, where it's just really groovy. So again, it's this beautiful mixture of that that harmony, that soulful harmony, that the classic R&B sort of tone, and then you've got that funk underneath it. I just love all of that. And then, like I said,
you know what it sounds like to me?
What's that?
When every time I listen to it, it has a very Flight Time circa SOS flavor to it. It's giving a lot of SOS band.
Yes.
Jammin' Lewis kind of vibe to it.
I can get that.
It does sound distinctly Chucky, but it ought both things can be true. It does sound it's giving a lot of Jammin' Lewis in it to me.
Speaking of sound, yes. So when I first heard the record, for me, I got Taylor Dayne, Tell It to My Heart, but slower.
Okay.
To me, I got it a little slower. If you slow down that, you will get a little bit of this, of My Heart, to me. That's what I got when I first heard it, right? So then after, that the electric guitar is all over that record too. So when I'm hearing this and it gets to that electric part, I'm like, now who is this? Because in my mind, going back to you saying Mamacita, I'm like, well, I know Mark Gordon did that, but I know he ain't do this, because this don't sound like that. You know what I mean? I was like, wait a minute, no, this don't sound like that. So then I know Rick Wade did Tell It to My Heart. So I said, okay, let me see who did he do this. Mind you, I didn't know who Chucky was yet. So I'm like, Chucky Booker. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know this cat. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Then the next year, he comes out with Turn Away. He comes out with all that. And then he comes out with Spread My Wings. So it was like, now you're realizing the type of sound he has. He has that airy type of sound. Like it's loose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? His sound is so loose.
Right.
And when you listen to this, because he started on the Vanessa Williams album, he wrote on that. And then this was kind of his placement, where people was like, oh, Chucky, okay, this is who this guy is. And then he come out with his album and all that kind of stuff. But that's when I kind of got, because I'm like, I just love Chucky's sound, and I'm glad that you said that he's so underrated. And when you hear this and Spread My Wings and Turn Away, and then what the production he did on All I Do. Mind you, we just said that Steven loves Michael. He idolizes this dude. So for him to do this record, and then, Chucky to add his little production to it, it's dope. But that's why I did. So now when I listen to this song, and you look at so many comments like on YouTube and all that, everybody will be like, yo, this sounds like Chucky. Like everybody be like, this sounds like Chucky. But yeah, I thought y'all looking at me crazy because I said it sounded like Taylor Dayne.
Connected. No, I didn't even look at you crazy. Everything's connected, and you hear familiar sounds, and it might just be one little piece and it takes you to somewhere else, but then what it make you do? Go down a rabbit hole of seeing who did what.
But yes. And do y'all think do y'all think too that Steven attacked this record so aggressively like Michael could have did this record? I think he's so aggressive on this.
So yeah, that's that was one of the things that I was thinking about when I wanted to talk about this, is because there's this duality that, again, when you dig into the history of Troop and you learn about the relationship and the friction between Steven and Alan, And I mean, Stephen was that cat. He was hungry. He was the guy. He had this ambition. You know what I'm saying? And he had this this thirst for knowledge and everything. Where he was the guy who wanted to be in the studio, wanted to learn, wanted to absorb everything like good from somebody like Chucky or somebody like Gerald or whatever. And you could see him in there putting the work in. And then it's contrasted in the song by the other singer in the group, Alan, who had his own demons that he was battling, and just things that I think caused friction in the group too. And you could hear the contrast in their voices when they sing the song. So when you talk about how Stephen attacked it, again, that to me that's coming from that inner will inside of him where he was trying to pull himself out, and all of his friends and everybody that came with him, from Pasadena, to try to get that to the next level. So I think that's definitely there in the performance. When I think about what he's doing, and the emphasis he's putting on the song, and then once you get to Alan's part, and you can hear the contrast there, that he's got this really pure high quality in his voice, but there's a pain underneath it.
I was just gonna say that. Yes, it's such a pain. You can feel that with him. But again, like you said, he was chasing a lot of his demons, so it was in that. Yeah. Because I'm like, God, when you hear, you be like, feel so bad. Like, even if it's a great love song, you be like, dang, Alan, I feel so like. You want to be like, yo, it's gonna be all right. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Good.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, before we veer off the subject, I just wanted to make sure that I talked about Chucky Booker a little bit, just because that was a big year for me. I'm trying to remember exactly, because I know my first concert was New Edition. I'll never forget that. My first concert was New Edition, and Bobby opened, and that was a big deal. But then my second concert was the Rhythm Nation tour. And
look, I didn't say it. He did.
but no, the reason why that's important is I remember because Chucky Booker was Janet's band director.
MD. Yes, he was.
Right. And he not only was that, but he was the opening act for her at that show. And I never forget. I remember just that day will just be seared in my memory, because I mean, I came in there, I had my new Adidas suit. I came in clean. I was like, we going in, and just like Turned Away was my song. That was just, again, and this is why to me it's like that and My Heart together. They're just together. They're just linked in my memory. So when I think about his production, I think about that song and this song too. And I just never forget. I was at that show, which is me and a bunch of my friends. And when Turned Away came on and he did that song, I mean, I'm in the Boston Garden. There's probably 10, 15,000 people in that arena. And I literally remember I was the only person that stood up and started dancing to that joint. And because nobody else knew it. Nobody else knew the song. Wow. To the point where I'm just going so hard that he stops in the middle of the song and he sees me. And he was like, yo, I see you, homie. And that was it for me. Like,
that's so dope. That's so dope.
That sounds like somebody I know.
So I'll never forget that. I always love that song for that reason, because I floated out of there that night. It was great.
Yes. And like you said, with Chucky not getting his just due either, is why I'm so mad that Troop didn't do a full album with him.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? Like, it made sense. Like, I'm like, that chemistry was there. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong.
It really was.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Laverne and with Mark Gordon and all that, they were kind of the heads of all of this. But it's just what Troop and Chucky did together was just so magical. And I'm like, okay, the second album, he got more songs, right? I think he got 3 songs. And on this first album, he got 1.
Yeah.
Hello, and all the songs were hits. So I'm like, there's your chemistry right there. Like this next album, won't
Especially
we do that?
especially Turned Away Part 2. I mean, Spread My Wings.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you. And they begged him for that beat. They begged him for that because it was supposed to be on his album.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to be on his album, and Steven was like,
Yes.
no, we need that one. We need that one. And yeah, I always think about that. It's almost like it almost sounds like a sequel. That's the Sperm and Wings. It almost sounds like a sequel, but I mean,
It does.
But I mean,
For sure.
This makes sense because Turned Away is my favorite
mhm,
Chucky Booker song.
right.
So I love that you mentioned that. But yeah.
I love it. And then in the video of My Heart, yo, can we talk about this video? They
Yeah.
eating that up. And I think and eating. And you know what? I'm about to get on Mr. Glass for a second. I think he wants to be loyal to New Edition. That's why he's playing it real fine on this. He like, yo, New Edition is everything, blah, 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 blah. And then we get the truth. And he like, yeah, but this. So we look, you from Boston. You loyal. We get it. We get it. We get it. You know what I'm saying? We understand. But look, to me, I think True as a group, harmony wise, is better than New Edition to me.
Mm-hmm.
Their choreography, shout out to Brooke Payne and all that, but they weren't doing no flips and rolling on the floor like Troop was. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like you said in the beginning, they were so from the school of the Temps. So that's where they stayed. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Troop was like adding hip hop flair to theirs. You know what I'm saying? They were adding that. They were flipping and breaking and doing all that. So it was like, oh, we can relate to them. You know what I'm saying? The the New Edition was kind of new in their style, but they also was relating to our parents. Right. You know what I mean? Like, so that was that. So with Truth, they was just, that was us. You know what I'm saying? That they was dedicated to us. Especially how they dance, how they move. Because I was watching the video today and I was just like, I know y'all out of breath by the end of this damn video. I know y'all out of breath because they in there killing it. I was just like, and that's why when you were saying when we were back and forth online, how you was like they don't get their respect like that. Right. And I don't think they do either because everybody actually look at charts and all that and comparing to New Edition. I mean, come on. No. They had a machine. The New Edition had the machine. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Troop was new. Right. A new group. They're not going to get the machine like they are, like New Edition was. When any heartbreak came, you got Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, who is hot like fish grease. So you got that. And then them coming off of, oh no, I don't even want to talk about that album. Well, the one before that. You talking about Cool It Now and all that, not the one that came after that. Yeah. Like Dart said in the episode, wrong damn year, but
also, New Edition had already been out. Right. Troop was a new group. So that's so it's still an apples and oranges kind of thing on a certain level.
Very true.
It's an evolution.
New Edition was already established. They had huge hits.
Right.
So also keep that in mind.
There's an evolution there. That's what I like to think about when you think about that period. There's almost a, if you track the line, there's a line from New Edition to Troop in between like BBD. You know what I mean? In terms of the imagery and the look, and also too, I think Troop was influenced too by Hammer because they toured with him, and they wanted to bring a lot of that same showmanship and energy to the stage that a lot of your the guys who just came up there with the Kangos and the Tims, Run DMC guys, that's all they really did on stage. Yeah, they were trying to bring a certain flair to it on the R&B side, and then BBD took it a step further and even got even more street with it with terms of the look and the imagery, visually and all of that. So there's definitely a line there that you can see, and that's why I feel like Troop is, when I think about, because we talked about where we rank these groups from that period, it's just a what could have been scenario for me because they made two albums that to me honestly they're like a 7, 8 out of 10. Honestly, they're not perfect albums, but there are classic songs on there.
Mm-hmm.
And and I like, again, like that's why I say the relationship between the artist and the producer is so important, because you see the difference in the quality of the songs that have endured, from those albums. When working with somebody like Chucky Booker, who was a perfect partner and able to pull out of them and
Yes.
and give them an environment to really flourish. Just with those songs, to me, they're still in my rotation. And there's a lot of other producers like that have a certain bond with an artist where what you're going to get when they work together. And I think this is just another great example of that. But it's just a shame, that the inner tension within the group kept them from being able to work with the Jam and Lewis, or Pharrell, or somebody who would have come in at that time and probably could have been able to give them a bigger body of work than what we got.
Right.
Also, so this is just weird. So when you think of a lot of the groups, their names, like the groups that have kind of endured from 80s and 90s to now.
Come on, sis. Yep.
But there was, you knew Ronnie, Bobby. But with True, if I wasn't the music nerd that I am, and always looking at I had the tape, so unfolding the tape.
Right, the cassette, yeah.
I think it helps with groups when you know their name.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's never, everybody, Boys and Men, you at least know 2 names. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just weird. Every group, or at least it's common knowledge of who the lead singer. Soon as somebody say Drew Cisco, you know what I'm saying? So
right.
Or they're like,
right.
Wanye. So anyway,
it's to me, when you think, you know what, and I agree with that too, because it seems like Steven gets more love of what he did in the 2000s than he did with True. Like a lot of the singing, because he did a lot for B2K that came out that I had already knew then. Right. But you know what I mean? Like you already, if you know Steven's voice, you knew that was him on them records. Omarion wasn't singing that good.
That's true. Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying?
He talks about that,
like I was like, okay, I know that voice. I know Steven. And it's like he gets more love then. And I'm like, do y'all not know this is the dude from Troop? Spread my wings, yo. My heart, Mamacita, like, you know what I mean?
Of course they don't. Of course they don't know it, because we didn't know it then.
That's true.
I'm talking about your average, just layperson, just fan. Yeah. But your average layperson fan can name you people out of other groups, even like that weren't, that had only 2 or 3 albums, and they know them. So that's just.
And I think that's where
I was a music nerd.
Right.
Yeah, I think that having the right team behind you was so important. You know what I mean? And I feel like that was probably a lot of what was causing a lot of issues within the group, just aside from, different egos and jealousies or whatever was, just the immature stuff that was going on when you're 17, 18, signing your first record deal, and you don't really know what you're doing and don't have, good role models in your life. And, they had to go through a lot of stuff, growing pains, just to, maturation process that you normally go through. But you're also being taken advantage of by people that, basically just in it for themselves. And so maybe that's why they're not getting, the right promotion or advice, or, telling them what to do to keep themselves visible and become the same household names that Elise just mentioned is True.
Right.
So I think that's probably the mindset when they're thinking about, well, maybe we should go sign with Hammer's label, because that's what really started, the demise of the group was, them being approached by Louis Burrell. I don't know, did you guys watch because there's a whole documentary on them that actually Steve Russell directed. It's on Tubi. It's called Tales of a Boy Band. It's called it's on Tubi.
No.
You can watch it for free. I watched the whole thing. It's 5 episodes. It's called Tales of a Boy Band: The Story of Troop. And what's cool about it is it's like a Rashomon, where basically like, because each hour episode focuses on one person's perspective, so you're getting the same story from 5 different points of view.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, and then so everybody kind of gets to talk about how they came together, and then making those first records and being on tour and all the struggles they had, and it's fascinating. I think I definitely recommend it. Anybody check that out if you want to learn more about it.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for
Two
sure. I'm checking
nights
that.
I'm watching.
Hello,
Yeah,
2
yeah,
nights because I ain't got to work in the morning, so I'm doing it.
No, it's dope. It's dope. Yeah.
But you know too, even though they didn't have the big pop crossover success, we, like Elise said in a couple of episodes ago, we are the R&B representatives, right? Mm-hmm. And they got 10 top 20 R&B joints for real. So they can go on tour if they wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think they do.
They still
do.
They still come out.
They still touring because I mean, hell, you got 10 songs, and then hey, if you need another 15 minutes, he can do all the Steven can do all B2K stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, but with them, I'm like, what I don't like, and me and Elise talk about that a lot. Everybody is like, oh, the mainstream crossover success, and you act like you didn't have any success. No, because you wouldn't have even been able to tour with Hammer if y'all didn't have any hits at all. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta, it's like they got songs. It's just back then too, a lot of our records were not crossing over then. A lot of them, because me and Elise one time was looking at, I think it was either 1990, and you had songs that were big,
right?
But they peaked at like 60 on the pop charts, but they were #1 records on the R&B chart,
right?
So it was like,
and people acting like, and a lot of people were acting like that didn't matter, but it did. And I mean, you had a jam. You didn't have a hit, you had a jam.
Exactly.
When you go #1 on R&B, you had a jam.
Right.
Yeah, no, because I looked at it. I mean, My Heart was for that year in the R&B charts, it was number 15. I mean, it was ahead of My Prerogative. I think like if it isn't love and Night and Day and yeah, I Want It, or maybe I Want It was Keith Sweat. I mean, those guys were they were killing the charts. They were on top, but My Heart was right in there. Among those top songs of the year. It did well. And I mean, there was definite competition between them and New Edition at the time. People just don't talk about it now, but
yeah, they had the little dance wars with each other.
Yeah. They were checking to see what each other was doing, and they wouldn't.
That's why that Soul Train performance is very. If you look at it, New Edition is trying to show true. We can do y'all too, because we know we're Temptation is, but we can get down with y'all, and they were getting down. Even they got even Whitney laughing because she like, wait a minute, y'all don't normally do that. You know what I'm saying? And she like, she's in the audience laughing, but people behind the scenes don't understand it. They talking the truth because they trying to let them know like, we can rock with y'all. Like we can do this too. You know what I mean? So obviously, New Edition might have been up there and they had the crossover success, but they were still checking for truth. They were trying to see what they were doing too. So that just kind of showed you what impact they had as well. You know what I mean? So
And I think that's one of those things where, that I really love about Troop a lot is because they wanted to keep that urban sensibility. They wanted to stay true to that. And they definitely on the performance side, they put thought into that. Because they wanted to distinguish themselves. They were like, because they started out doing New Edition lip syncs and stuff like that. That's I think I was watching a show. The guy was talking about, it was one of your other shows I was listening to where the guy was talking about the 3 stages. No, I think it was Kill 889 was talking about the 3 stages of artist development, where you talks about imitation and then emulation and then innovation.
Yes. Yeah. Kill actually talked about something right.
Yeah. But no, that made
love
me
you, bro.
about that.
I'm just playing.
Apartment 5B, shout out. Because that's the same thing. They started out doing imitation, and I think Stephen was the one that really had the vision, and him and Alan really were the loudest voices in the room as far as what they wanted to be to kind of keep it in terms of their own identity, where they came from Pasadena and the style that they had out there, and they didn't want to try to be compared to somebody else. And I think that's kind of maybe the place where they got stuck, where they maybe could have gone to that next phase, but because they weren't able to stay together and have the right creative energy in the room to be able to push it further. I think that's why we lost them, because I think they could have been one of the greats, and that's just something that I was thinking about when I talk about the ones that I revere. I think about the potential of what they could have been, and that's why it's because they had moments that were just perfection to me, but there just weren't enough of them.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I think you dropped the mic right there.
Did he ever? Did he ever? Where do you go after that?
Because I'm like, I don't think I had nothing to add. That, yes, that, yes, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And mind you, we like to talk, and if we ain't got nothing to say, you dropped it.
But yeah, no,
Nobody has it.
I definitely encourage y'all to watch this because that's one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about because I'm really fascinated by just the group dynamics when I think about because I know JR, you know a lot about the history of the Temptations and what happened there, and New Edition had their history and everything, and it's like, I mean, you could do a whole Robert Townsend movie about this group, and I mean, it'd be the Five Heartbeats too, because a lot of the same things, same things happen,
Right.
and so yeah, when you watch that and you look at the issues that Alan came through. What I love is Alan came because these guys weren't. I mean, they were acquaintances. They knew of each other. When they came together, but they didn't necessarily have the same bond and history of like a New Edition, all kind of growing up in the same projects. There was a kind of a different history. They had to audition for the group, and it was Rodney's mom that put the group together. So they weren't necessarily the best of friends when they started, but Stephen and Alan actually got kicked out of his father's house, and he had to move in with Stephen, and they started out as basically living together like brothers, and they shared a lot. But I think the fact that Stephen had a certain amount of talent, that Alan was always trying to compete with, and it just caused a lot of tension in the group, and kept them from being able to. I think work together as a unit, even though I think Alan wanted to get a lot of the same accolades that that Stephen was getting, as he progressed in his career. So it's just it's just a cautionary tale to me about what happens when you let selfishness, ego, jealousy, things like that get in the way of getting the bag. You know what I mean? Because they really
that part.
they could have been something.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Glass.
Yes.
We really appreciate you hanging out with us.
He got to come back for a regular catch that.
Yeah, we talked to you about an album. So go ahead.
About the album. He got to talk to him about the album. Yeah.
Go ahead and start picking out your album. We don't care
Pick out your album.
Yeah. We've done it already.
Yeah.
Or topic. It
I would
could be
love
a topic also. It doesn't have to be an album. But
I would love it. Yeah.
Go ahead and get the wheels turning.
Right.
No, I've been thinking about it because I mean I don't know if I'm a huge Prince fan, and so yeah, I could talk about a Prince album. Yeah, I mean I love I love MJ. I love all that.
Okay. Well, when we send you the schedule, you pick.
Please, yeah, just reach out, please. I would love to come back because you guys,
yes,
you guys are really a lot of fun. This is great.
Yeah.
So, before we get out of here, how about you tell folks if you'd like to be found where they can find you elsewhere?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a podcast or anything to push or anything like that. My handle is just Mr. Glass at Mace Windu BMF on Twitter. Yeah, no, I don't really have anything to push or anything. I'm just happy to be here and would love to be back on the show to just have another conversation. That'd be awesome. If I could, because I know my wife's gonna see this, I just wanted to wish my wife a happy anniversary. We're celebrating 11 years at the end of this month.
Blessings.
Thank you. So just wanted to say love to her. And just if I could just do a short little PSA, because my wife and I have a son. He's going to be starting kindergarten this year, next week actually. He's about to be 6, and we adopted him when he was a year old, and he just brought a lot of joy to our lives, and it's just been a blessing to really to be a father. I guess that's one thing I wanted to mention while I'm on here is because I was thinking about just the importance of fathers and sons, and because the guys in this group, I feel like a lot of the issues there could have been helped by having a role model, a father figure in their lives, and it's just meant a lot to me to be able to be a father to my child and share my love of music, from this era and beyond, because him and I have really bonded over music, and it's just been a blessing. So I just wanted to say, like, anybody out there who's looking for like a alternative means to extend their family or just serve more in their community, look into foster care or or adoption, because there's a lot of families out there that can be a great home for these children out here that that need a good home. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Thank you.
And we also thank all of our viewers. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us every week. And, we love family too. So everybody that comes over this way, you a cousin, and we really want some more cousins to share
Yes.
this love, to share this music. Yeah, all that good stuff. So we will catch y'all on the next Catch That. Peace.